Onions are my least favorite thing to chop, and it's because they make me cry every single time. And I don't just cry a little. I like, it's like battery acid searing into my skull that lasts like 10 minutes. And I don't know why I'm so sensitive to onions. That's just the way it is. And I've been trying to figure out a way to chop onions without crying, and there's nothing really works really well. Like glasses work really well, contacts work really well, but I don't actually wear contacts, so I'm not gonna go to the eye doctor just so I don't cry while cutting onions. What does seem to work is moving your cutting board over to underneath the fan that is attached to the hood, like over your stove, right? You know, you have your stove, you have your fan overhead, and you turn the fan on like mega freaking high, and you just chop your onion, and the fan like sucks out all the air and all the onion vapors, and it's great. That actually works really great. Unfortunately, I can't do that right now because we are filming and I have no hood. So what I'm gonna do instead, at some point during this demo, is I'm probably gonna put on my sunglasses, and I'm gonna look ridiculous, but whatever, otherwise my makeup's gonna run all over my face, and we don't want that either. So when it comes to chopping onions, there's a real basic way to do it. It's pretty much the same for all onions, right? Because onions are pretty much all the same shape. And it's the same for shallots as well, right? Even though they're a little differently shaped, like it's the same method. So you've got your root end, right? This is where the roots come down and go into the ground. And you've got your stem end, right? This is the stem that comes up and it has your like onion greens that are sticking out of the ground. You never want to cut this end. This is the end that will hold the whole onion together while you cut it. If you accidentally cut off this end, it becomes a huge pain in the ass to cut this onion. You do, however, want to cut off the stem end. Like there's nothing really important here, and so we're gonna cut this off right now. So we're going to have our hand in the claw. We're holding our knife properly with our thumb and our forefinger. We're gonna notice that this is wobbling all over the place, and there's no way around it. Our very first cut is an insecure cut, so you need to be super careful, and you need to make sure your knife is sharp, because if your knife is not sharp, it'll just like slide off, right? And hopefully it's sliding away from your fingers. So we're gonna take a sharp knife and we're gonna hold this really secure in the claw. We're gonna hold it and we're just gonna cut off that stem end. And now we have a stable point to start from, so it's much easier after that. We're gonna throw this in the trash bowl. Whew. And here we go. What we're gonna do is we're gonna make another cut through the onion this way. We're gonna cut straight through the root. We wanna make sure that there's two halves of the onion and that each half has a piece of the stem end attached. Because if you accidentally cut this off, or if you cut it like this and one piece is like this and it doesn't have any stem end, it's just gonna fly all over the place. And onions have all these layers and they fly everywhere, and it's a total pain in the butt. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut it in half straight down through the root end. And now we have two stable halves, and I am going to put on my sunglasses because it's starting to get a little moist all up in here. Not moist like that, thanks. Now what we're gonna do is we're going to peel these and get rid of this papery skin, throw it in our trash bowl. Usually comes off pretty easy. Every once in a while you get one that is like, you know, doesn't want to cooperate, doesn't peel very well. It's not much to be done about it. You can just take off an extra layer if you want. Now the first cut on an onion, we're gonna cut like this, right? We're gonna cut kind of in a clockwork. It's like if you picture a clock, it's like, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, actually it's opposite for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're gonna kind of do that, pretending that the middle part of the onion here is the center part of the clock. What this is gonna do is give us nice, even slices. It's funny, this is actually starting to make my eyes tear up even despite the sunglasses. Whew. So we're gonna try and do this kind of quick. So depending on how big of pieces you want of onion, that's how big you make your slices. If you want big fat slices of onion, then you cut really fat like that. If you want really thin, then you cut really thinly, and you actually have more numbers between your numbers on the clock. So we're gonna go for a medium dice. We're gonna go this way, right here, and you wanna stop chopping right here. Like you do not want the knife to go all the way to the root end, because then these are just gonna fly off, right? The whole point of keeping the root end intact is it keeps everything together. If you chop like this, then it just goes off that way and it's a lot harder to chop. So we're gonna keep going. And again, you wanna go slow. And you can see that I am leaving this root end intact right here. I am only cutting to right here. There are no cuts close to the root end. We're gonna make another cut, and another cut, and another cut, and another cut. Now, some chefs like to cut this way, like you'll cut it right here and cut back. I don't like ever cutting towards my hands, so I don't ever do that. And I definitely don't tell students to do that. It really makes a minimal difference, so I don't even bother. So what we're gonna do is we're looking for like a medium dice. So we have our slices here, like they're probably about like a 1/4 inch. And we're gonna cut in 1/4 inch slices this way. So 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch. Again, we have our hands on the claw, 1/4 inch. We're moving it back incrementally, guiding our knife, 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, step back and try not to cry. Whew. We clean off our knife, get all the little bits off. And look at that. We've got a perfectly chopped onion. Onions like to stick together, so you kind of have to move them apart with your fingers, but otherwise, those look great. So we're gonna take these off and clear off our cutting board because a messy cutting board is no bueno. We're gonna get rid of our trash. No trash here. Move these off to the side and hopefully they will stop making me cry. Now we're gonna show you how to slice an onion, which is super easy, right? So we've got our half onion right here. Like it's already cut in half. So you can actually slice a whole onion if you want. Like if you want whole onion rings, you can totally do that. But it's important to know that the onion is still gonna be wibbly wobbly all over the place. You can shave off one little edge of it to kind of stabilize it and then chop, and that's really helpful. But for now, what I'm gonna show you how to do is basically just cut slices. And we're gonna do 1/4 inch slices as if we were gonna add them to a salad. And we're gonna slice, oop, that guy's kind of sad. That guy's too thin. Onions, because they're so they're kind of like a cross between soft and hard, it's really easy to slice them too thin. It can take a little bit of practice to get them in nice even slices, but we're gonna go for 1/8 of an inch. Oh, that one looks good. 1/8 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, boop, 1/8 of an inch. You can see these look great. Like these are just like standard slices. They can be tossed into a salad. They can be tossed into anything you want. Now shallots work the exact same way. Shallots are just very small onions. I mean, they're not just very small onions. They're a different plant. They're in the same family. But shallots, they're the same way. They still have kind of like a bulb shape and you just like do the clockwork chop and then you slice this way.